Honestly, I never intended to record another message like this, but the response to my last one was overwhelming. So many of you shared your own experiences, asked questions, and mentioned things that had long been buried. So first, my sincere thanks. Your words truly carried a weight I can't fully describe. Today, I need to discuss a notion that's occupied my mind since I lost my wife, Eleanor. It concerns the falsehoods we repeat to ourselves just to make it to bedtime. Not the monumental deceptions, but the minor ones. The ones we assume are shields, but which quietly rob us of our lived experience. My name is George. I'm 87, and for 43 years I maintained a trivial, foolish lie to my wife. It was so insignificant that when the truth finally surfaced, we simply sat together in a prolonged quiet. The revelation wasn't shocking. The tragedy was the sheer volume of time we'd lost by evading it. It was a Thursday on the porch. She posed the question, as she had countless times. Do you ever wish you finished your degree? For 43 years, my script never changed. No, it all worked out. I did just fine. But that afternoon, something within me fractured. I replied, yes, I regret it every single day. She stared at me as if I'd switched languages. Every day, I continued. I regret quitting. I regret my pride stopping me from returning. I regret pretending it was unimportant when it meant a great deal to me. Eleanor set her coffee cup down. George, why didn't you ever say so? We could have found a way. You could have gone back. In that moment, I saw the damage clearly. For 40 years, I'd guarded my ego, acting as if a wound didn't exist while it slowly consumed me. I had stolen from both of us. I denied myself any chance to address it, and I denied her the opportunity to truly know me, to support or even comprehend that part of my life. We repeat these small fictions to ourselves constantly. I'm okay. It doesn't hurt. I've moved on. I don't need anything. I'm not upset. It's not important. Perhaps occasionally they serve a temporary function. They might help you endure a difficult moment or maintain calm. But when they solidify into a permanent narrative, the story you inhabit, they begin to harden. They form barriers between you and the people you cherish, between you and the existence you genuinely desire. I worked with a man named Frank for 22 years. A decent, dependable fellow. We'd share lunch discussing ordinary topics, sports, the forecast, what our wives were making for supper. About half a year after he retired, his daughter phoned me. Frank had passed from a heart attack. She told me something I can't forget. Dad always mentioned you. He said you were the only person at the office he was at ease with. He wished he'd shared some things with you, but he never could. At his funeral, listening to the eulogies, I understood I never truly knew Frank. I only knew the facade, the persona he permitted me to see. Whatever he longed to say, whatever simmered beneath our chats about baseball and Sunday dinners, I would never hear it. That is the price of these minor lies. They cost us intimacy. They cost us the opportunity to be understood. And to be deeply understood by even one or two souls is what renders life endurable and perhaps even radiant. My son, David, who's 59, visited recently. We were at my kitchen table when he said, unexpectedly, Dad, there's something I should have told you 30 years ago. My heart sank, bracing for terrible news. Instead, he said, in high school, when you asked if I wanted to join your business, I said no because I wanted independence. That was a lie. I said no because I was terrified I wasn't capable, that I'd let you down. I could only look at him. David, you could never disappoint me. I realize that now, he said, but I didn't then. I've carried this idea that I failed you by not following your path my entire life. We spoke for 3 hours that day. A real conversation about anxieties, sorrows, and confusions that had lingered between us for decades. When he left, I felt a lightness I hadn't known in years. Not because it was simple, but because it was authentic. This is my lesson. The falsehoods we use for self-protection ultimately imprison us. We believe we're being resilient, self-sufficient, not imposing a burden. In reality, we're constructing a jail cell where we sit alone with our anguish, our embarrassment, our unmet yearnings. The sad truth is, most often, the people in our lives would offer help if we simply gave them the honest version. Eleanor and I had a strong marriage, stronger than many. But after that porch conversation, something changed. We began exchanging smaller truths. Not major admissions, just the daily honesties we'd been sidestepping. I'm nervous about this medical visit. I feel isolated even with you here. I'm still hurt by what your sister said. These were sentiments we'd suppressed for ages. It wasn't always smooth. Sometimes it sparked disagreements. Sometimes we had to sit with difficult emotions. But it was real. And reality, even when it's complicated, is superior to the carefully curated fiction we had inhabited. I observe people my age in care facilities or hospitals, still pretending, still acting fine when they're frightened, still performing self-sufficiency when they ache for someone to simply be present. Pride destroys more connections than betrayal ever could. Pride and the dread of appearing vulnerable or clingy or less than the image we wish to project. A man named Walter, 82, lives in my building. His children visit perhaps twice annually. He tells everyone he understands. They're busy, it's all right. But I've seen him at his window on Sundays, watching families come and go with an expression of absolute solitude. One day I asked him, "Walter, have you told your children you'd like more visits?" He looked almost insulted. I refuse to be a burden. So he remains alone in his apartment, guarding his pride while his life quietly passes by. I'm not suggesting you divulge every secret to everyone. Some matters are private, some you process internally. But those closest to you, the ones who love you or wish to, they deserve the truth, not the refined edition, not the "I've got this" edition, the actual truth. I'm having a hard time, I need support. This is painful, I'm afraid. I don't know what to do. When my youngest daughter called 3 years ago, weeping so intensely I could hardly grasp her words, I asked what was wrong. She said, "I feel like I'm failing at everything. I can't keep going." Instead of telling her she was fine, being dramatic, I told her the truth. I said, "I've been there myself many times. It's awful. I'm so sorry you're in this pain." We spoke for an hour. I didn't resolve anything. I couldn't. But she told me later that conversation was her lifeline. Not because I had solutions, but because I was honest about not having them. The tales we tell ourselves about being all right, about having everything under control, about needing no one, they don't fortify us. They diminish us. They reduce our lives to only what we can handle alone, which isn't much because we are not designed for isolation. We are designed for linkage, for shared difficulty, for the solace of being fully seen and still cherished. I squandered too many years in pretense. Pretending I wasn't injured when I was, pretending I was indifferent when I cared deeply, pretending I was in control when I was adrift. The cost extended beyond me. It impacted Alina, my children, and friendships that could have held more depth had I been more courageous. Now I have no time for pretense. I'm 87. Every interaction could be my final one with someone. So when people inquire how I am, I tell them. When something holds meaning, I voice it. When I'm thankful, I express it. When I'm frightened, confused, or angry, I no longer conceal it. Not because I've become fearless, but because I've finally learned that being known is worth the risk of being wounded. If you're hearing this and you're clinging to some minor untruth, a story you repeat to yourself or others to evade unease, I urge you to consider releasing it. Not all at once, not carelessly, but begin by being slightly more honest with yourself. Then, with the people who count. Tell someone if you're struggling. Request help if you need it. Acknowledge when you're mistaken. State what you truly want, not what you believe you should want. Please stop performing fine and simply be what you actually are, a beautifully messy, uncertain human. If you wish to explore this further, I suggest 3 texts. The Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown, When Things Fall Apart by Pema Chodron, and Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Read them. They will provoke you in necessary ways. I'll share links below. This channel presents individuals like me, offering reflections and earned wisdom. If this held value for you, please subscribe and enable notifications. And if this connected with you, share it with someone who might benefit. Leave a comment stating one truth you've been postponing. Press the like button. I have more to share, and I'd prefer to share it with those who are truly listening. If you have a story of your own, something you've learned that could aid another, there's a form in the description. Complete it. Perhaps next time, we'll be sharing your experience,